us on the National Outlook. We start out the week by talking about rain, rainfall, tremendous amount of rain. My fellow Guyanese, good morning. Trust you had a good weekend. GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on the National Outlook. We start out the week by talking about rain, rainfall. Tremendous amount of rainfall last week. Floods in the coastal areas. Well, we expect that. I certainly expect that. I live in the city, and it was heavy rainfall on a sustained basis, long and hard. Yeah, and the entire city almost was underwater, deep water. Businesses, private residents in front of hospitals, you name it. People who had SUVs were telling me that they were a bit scared. They were a bit scared to drive through the water because you have some electricals at the bottom there. Nobody wants to tamper with that or to start tampering with those things because they take time and they take money. Anyhow, so here we are talking about floods again. Government after government, and we somehow seem to end up in the same place. This government is not quite 3 months old yet. So, well, it is, isn't it? Yes. So we have to give it a little bit more time, a little bit more space. But some things that came out that I didn't know before, and perhaps we should emphasize again, is that we had 5 inches of rainfall. That's tough. That's more than moderate. That's heavy, extremely heavy rainfall in a 24-hour period. Fact. But I'm concerned about a couple of things. In 2015, when the previous government was in place, for the first 6 to 8 months or thereabouts, I remember well, I think I wrote about this in the newspapers, that I'm always looking for something that's positive. Any government, regardless of which government, that it was good to see that the flood waters were in lesser places and they stayed for a lesser period of time. The drains were cleared and the water was running off, and we had the coker attendants in line and we had our pumps services. Of course, there was the usual ludicrousness of pumps not functioning and pumps not serviced and all that usual sorry business. But anyhow, for about 6 to 8 months, we seem to have had our arms around this thing in some sort of more encouraging fashion. Not completely, nowhere near to that. We went to the next step where I remember there was this hullabaloo about local engineers versus Dutch engineers, which I also went public to say, who better than the Dutch? They live on the water. The North Sea is right there. And over the centuries, they've had to face catastrophic floods. We have faced severe floods, and other than the one, I can't remember when it was. I just left the same date and returned to New York when they were the great floods that faced Guyana, but catastrophic floods we really don't know about. Individually, yes. Community, yes, but nationally, no. But the Dutch have had that, so they have developed a core of expertise, world-class expertise to help us with that. So I'm asking myself, our drainage capacity is at maximum is for 2 inches of rain, 2 inches of rainfall. Now here we had 2.5 times that. We had 2.5 times that, and we end up where we did. Well, Camp Street, Main Street, Carmichael Street, the East Coast, Demerara, Queenstown, Albertown, Commingsburg, South Commingsburg. Of course, we can talk about Alwystone and wide areas of Tiger Bay and other places. And we shrink. We shudder when we think of our fellow citizens living in water, waking up to water, their goods, their possessions soaked. I know somebody from church who wakes up with that water, kind of water routinely. So what are we doing about this? We seem to have spent hundreds of millions in government after government to drain away the water, but are we draining some of that into our pockets? Have they done that? Now, the mayor, Pandit Narayan, he's trying valiantly, and I commend him, but this is bigger than the mayor. This is central government. And I really appeal to the government, the PPP government. Let's put our arms around this. It's good that we talk about airports and we talk about 4-lane highways and all those other wonderful things, and a new harbor bridge, and so on and so forth. Lovely things, costly things. But Georgetown is our capital city. It's where all those visitors coming to do business here have to end up at some time. The people who want to talk about downstream infrastructure, downstream projects relative to our oil, they have to be in Georgetown. Georgetown, like I said, is our capital, and we need to make it look. It's the best part. It's the most visible part of our home. Which one of us? Which one of you? I certainly don't want my home to look shabby. The main part of it, when somebody comes and sits in that main area, not the kitchen, not the outhouse, not the bedrooms. Those are all more or less private. But in that cozy drawing room area, that sitting room area, the ambiance, the cleanliness, the healthiness of it has to be prime, paramount in my mind, in our minds. So therefore, we need to get Georgetown right. Whether we move the city or not, I think that's years away. But here's the story. Do all those things, but also let's prioritize getting our drainage or a better handle on it. A better handling on it. Let's do it right this time. We've done it wrong and we've done it lazily and occasionally for too long. Whether it's more pumps, whether it's more an entire new complex of drainage and irrigation system, well, not irrigation, system for the city. Let's put our heads together. And again, together, that's an elusive thing in this country. So, would floods be a thing of the past? No. Before I go, the National Weather Center, why did we hear about these heavy rains until after they happened, when the damage was done? And now we're going to expect, as of late last week, when the worst did happen, expect 4 or 5 more days. I would have thought that in this day and age, we would have got a little bit more of a timely alert. But that's gone now. Let's learn from all of this. Let's grow. Let's go forward. Let's keep our feet dry. Until the next time, GHK Lall on Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and 99.5 FM. Thank you for joining us on the National Outlook. And I pray that the week ahead will be a blessed and healthy one.